102.9 FM, KBLX, The Quiet Storm. That's one of the best songs ever. Just one of the best songs ever. Corinne Bailey Rae is here.
How you doing?
I'm doing lovely.
Good,
so wonderful to see you.
Thank you so much for having me.
Oh,
thanks for playing the song. It's really nice to hear.
Everybody loves this song, Corinne. Seriously. We were just saying off air that it's one of those songs, the first time you hear it, you're like, okay, where can I get it? It's flawless.
Thank you.
It's a flawless song.
Thanks a lot.
Okay, and see, the good news is that Corinne is performing at the Regency Ballroom tomorrow night, right?
That's right. Yeah, I can't wait.
Yeah.
I love San Francisco, so I love being here, and I like the weather, I like the atmosphere, I like the type of people, I like the buildings, and the fact it's all hilly, and it's got so much history. Yeah, it's a great place to be, so we're really looking forward to tomorrow.
Oh, we're looking forward to. We love you, girl. Straight up. So, Regency Ballroom, 8 o'clock tomorrow night. Corinne Bailey Rae, and you know she's here. You've got your guitar there. You've just got the whole thing happening. Now, you know, let's talk about Closer though, because a song like that, you know, and I did say the word. It's a flawless song. How did it come to be?
I started writing that song just sort of walking around the house, and normally I write my songs on guitar first, so I write the chords and then I kind of come up with a melody and the lyric. But with that song, I had the melody and the lyric sort of in my head, and I was kind of singing it to myself, and I kept thinking, whose song is? Oh yeah, that's my song. That's my song that just keeps coming to me. So then I came to my guitar and just tried to work out the chords for it and of what I was hearing in my head, and it just kind of came about really naturally. You know, on my first record, I worked a lot with other people, other writers. I really felt with this record that I wanted to see what would happen if I just spent more time on my own, and just let the ideas come in. And I feel like I trust all the songs on this album a lot more because I feel like they all just kind of arrived, you know, and they weren't graphed, you know, there weren't loads of hard work. And so this is one of them that I feel like it just kind of came out of nowhere.
So, and I'll tell you why it's such a great song, because there's so many different influences in there. Different musical genres all mixed up together. You can't really call it one particular thing.
Yeah.
Those are always the best songs.
Thanks. I mean, I really like that. I like that about music as well. It's strange when people put music in a box and say it's this thing or it's that thing. And I think, you know, it has got like a rhythm sort of based sort of R&B thing, but it's more old school. It's less slick. You know, we're using a drummer. The track is a drummer called Mikey Wilson from Manchester, and we recorded the drums and the bass and the vocal and the guitar all at the same time, so recorded it in this old school way where you could look across, and I think it does kind of speed up towards the end as we're all getting more into it. And then we used this old sort of 80s keyboard. We put all the synths on afterwards. I worked with this great producer called Steve Brown, and he loves his keyboard world, so we had loads of fun with all these synthesizers, like moving sliders around, and just trying to get that sort of flavour to it. But to me it makes you think of you know, being at a roller disco or something.
Roller disco.
Yeah,
that's
disco.
one thing.
Yeah.
You're right.
Yeah.
You're right. So who are your influences? You know, you're bringing all that stuff into one song. Who are the people that made you want to do this?
I think I've got a real mixture of influences. I mean, the first band I had was kind of an indie guitar band, you know, and I think there's a lot of music on this album that is more sort of rock and indie influence, but I also love soul music, and I like making sort of undone soul music that's not slick and not trying to be perfect, and you know, it's not sort of shiny. So I mean, I love Stevie Wonder, and I think he's such a great writer and a really great person, and I like Herbie Hancock and Aretha Franklin and Minnie Riperton. I love Erykah Badu. I like all sorts of artists, I guess. You know, people who I feel like you can't really fit them in a box. Like Nina Simone would be a really good example of someone who is a classically trained pianist, but they find themselves singing jazz, but they cover folk songs and songs by the Beatles, and you know, you just kind of follow your heart rather than thinking about a scene or a demographic or anything like that. It's kind of, you know, it's messy. It makes it harder to find places for the music to go, but I think it's really important. You know, when I'm standing on stage, I want to feel like my whole self is represented, you know, not just one side. So there are songs that are more intimate, more acoustic, and then there's other songs that are really heavy and distorted guitars and loads of drums, and so I want to have the whole range.
Right, and you're interpreting those emotions. So yeah, that does kind of get messy.
Yeah, it really does.
Trying to bring all that out. So how did all this begin for you?
I started playing music at school and singing in choirs. I sang at church. We used to have this really irreverent sort of youth pastor who was really into bands like Radiohead and Led Zeppelin, and he bought me my first electric guitar, and we used to write music in church that was just like the kind of grunge stuff that was coming out of America when we were sort of 15 and 16. And then I started this band, and then I guess I really got into soul and jazz. I worked at this jazz and soul club called the Underground when I was at university, and really kind of had a yearning to play that kind of music. Those kind of chords really affected me, that kind of harmony. But I knew I had a different sort of voice, and I didn't really hear anything that sounded like me in that world. So it took me a while really to sort of develop that kind of confidence, and then hear all different kinds of singers. I didn't hear Billie Holiday till I was in my teen years. And that was really revolutionary to me, to hear someone who had a lot of texture in their voice, and, and sort of bent up to notes and slipped back down to notes, and wasn't this really technical sort of accurate singer, but she had so much heart and really great phrasing. And so those kind of singers inspire me. I love people who phrase. I love when songs feel a bit like a conversation and feels like someone's talking. So yeah, I guess those are people who've really influenced me.
Wonderful, wonderful. We're speaking to the fabulous Corinne Bailey Rae. She is performing at the Regency Ballroom tomorrow night, 8 o'clock. Tickets on sale now at all Ticketmaster outlets, including Ticketmaster.com.